patch. Look, I think Nemesis is a god that is going to be pretty meta resistant or nerf resistant just because of the nature of that Retribution ultimate. Being able to strip away defense, by and large, just a pretty good thing to do.
Rongu the first target, Sunder after the pluck, and no shot. This Athena survives. Venenu claims first blood, but it was the front line of Jake and Lazarus setting it up.
Rongu stepping a little bit too far forward there. Not even sure why he's up that far. Had he found even a 3-man...
Elected for the Sobek instead.
Oh, like, crazy to me that teams are willing to experiment with it. I mean, Athena, for my money, still one of the best, if not the best support in the game right now. The second she takes over to 5, that global presence as well as the engage factor come late, so strong.
Yeah, Venenu not wanting to be there anymore. I mean, Lazarus does not have a whole lot of backup for him, but Ven still wanting to play up. Bullied Shinto a little bit, but then immediately killed by the Nem and Athena ult.
That I really did not expect to see. Itemization has not really screamed Zhongqi to me inside of the mid-mage lineup, but it's been seeing a lot of play. Must be a script monster, as you said.
Shinto going to use the beads as he got plucked and sundered. And Rongu, oh, why don't we just turn on this guy? We've got last breath ticking, and Lazarus going to be able to pick up another kill. Bolts up 2-1. Right now over the Leviathans, and both kills on the Leviathan support.
But despite having the kill advantage, it's still the Leviathans getting aggressive in solo. Haddock steps up to the blue buff and pays the iron price. Unfortunate circumstances lead to his death, and the Leviathans maintain a slight gold lead.
They're in a good position. Panatom with a slight level advantage over Laz. Lower end among the hunters, but don't think Medusa's really out DPSing him by that much. So blue buff invade once again. Haddock's got it last time all by himself, but then paid for it. Julio plucked in. Big knock-up from him. Haddock's boulder doesn't find a whole lot. Then immediately in trouble, but tanky enough on the Zhongqi to survive the onslaught. Rongu again on the receiving end of last breath, and this time he's not feeling quite as bad about it. It's a double kill for Panatom, and the bolts nearly come up empty-handed. Venenu's dot eventually does the job onto Rongu with a nice backstep into push by Haddock. Still not enough. Leviathans coming up 3-1 over the Bolts.
The Bolts getting aggressive in the enemy jungle yet again. The Leviathans' defense means a lot less than when it does when you're ahead. You can usually utilize it if you've got a level lead. Just maintain that aggressive playstyle. But from behind, well, no matter how much defense you build, you're still going to fall pretty easily.
Well, his damage not too bad. Takes about a third of Yarkor's HP, but Yarkor given better than he got. Yeah. There's the ultimate coming in. Masterful shot not needed. Panatom gonna grab it with the last tick of that shield. 5-0-1 now for the Leviathan's jungler. And everywhere Lasbra goes, his shadow seems to be right.
On the gold for you already dropped down to 50%. Jake and Ben have the flank.
Taunt on time in order to let the Leviathan secure, but it looks like they want to disengage. Bara here at a good position. Yarkor not quite as lucky with his positioning. Jake no blink, so it's going to be hard for him to catch up. Petrifies there for Barracuda, but now his dash is down, and Panatom has yet another meal. Shinto going to claim that one for himself. Venenu caught in a bad spot as well, and when it rains, it pours. Ven actually going to turn it around.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Zhongqi still good in those moments. Ven finds 2 from the grave, including a massive shutdown on the Panatom. Burst damage until the late game, and even then, you're not looking at him like you would a god like Ra or Scylla that can really chunk you out come late game. That slow DPS is exactly where Zhang wants to be, particularly with the lifesteal that he's built, Mifflin. Purple boots and that soul gem end up mattering quite a bit here.
It really does. That additional lifesteal just keeps him alive long enough, man. The 3-man stun as well to line up all of his abilities. Look, Ven played it as well as he could have. It's
the easiest way to continue to grow your lead is just to make sure that the enemy team never has engagement on you. Taunt into Nem damage, into Merlin damage, those feel pretty difficult to play against. Jake finding that out right now as he eats more than half. Julio right on time. Panatom going to slow down Jake, but still has that lurking in the waters. Just a little bit shy on the damage department. Julio now caught underneath the tower thanks to Lasbra, but he's going to beat and dash away. Leviathans don't find the Leviathans have set so far. That analogy actually works even better with the team name that the Leviathans have. Beads used by Venenu and ultimate. As soon as that Sunder came out from Rongu, he realized that that was a legitimate fear of dying, and Panatom gonna blink over the top of awesome Jake. Aegis there, good pluck from Jake to save Venenu's life. TP coming in from Haddix, but really just as an insurance policy. Leviathans trade a blink and a sunder for both relics and the ultimate of the one in mid, though I agree with you. I don't know if this is quite enough for how far ahead they are in the actual fight. It's not just about the golden experience, but as you mentioned, Venenu pretty close to a non-factor without that ultimate or any relics. But instead, they're just going to try and pick Jake, body block him out. Lurking in the water is certainly not going to be enough. And that divine retribution again comes through from Panatom and allows them to pick up another kill. 5-1 and 4 now for the
Use this time to back up towards the Fire Giant and generate threat. They do pull it, but keep your eyes on Lazra. He's got the flank, and the entirety of the living bolts are here for the defense.
And there's no one tanking this Fire Giant besides the back line, but Haddix is going to be the key right now. Buy some space, but Julio waiting for him on his eventual retreat. Rongu going to turn and try and force back Lazra with that ultimate, and he does so successfully. A lot of blows traded, but not a lot of blood quite yet. Lazra might be changing that here. Taunted and killed by Yarkor. 2-0 and 2 now for the Hunter. Is Julio still in the thick of the fight? Blinking for Panatom. Barracuda going to have to dash away. Another good pluck from Awesome Jake. Level 20, maxes out that Excavate, does as much damage as it can. That's really the best secure on the map. And he's going to be able to strip it away, and all of a sudden the Bolts have life, down 6k with a Fire Giant. That's pretty even to me.
My man walked up slowly, pressed the 4 key, and it just worked. Just no defense from the Leviathans here. I guess they just assume that there's no way anyone does it. What is it, like 200 damage to confirm that one away? Look, that is God. Barracuda sticking around. Leviathans are threatening the base.
They are, and Jake is backed, and Julio gets his back off, which is massive. Lazra just couldn't get in there to stop it, but still, Julio back, not quite enough. Left Phoenix for mid Phoenix is the trade so far, but Lazra steps up to clear the wave with no beads. Hello? Hello? You don't have beads against the Athena. That's what's going to happen. Pluck onto Panatom as he's been receiving that defender of Olympus, still willing to surge on forward, and Rongu going to grab that one. Haddix's boulder still important, but not as much as that Fire Giant steal. All the while, Barracuda just getting chased down the jungle by Julio. And Leviathans now might be able to just turn around and pinch the ADC, but Haddix stepping up, trying to get the damage on a Panatom, but Venenu's ultimate does nothing that time around. The Leviathans looked like they might have fumbled the bag, but they end up picking it up at the very end, despite the miscue on the Fire Giant. The Leviathans find game number 1.
Man, that is a heartbreaking situation. Not often you get to look at a game where you're behind.
Entirely from his ultimate, you make that ultimate feel pretty underwhelming in general, and he has a hard time keeping up with all of that mobility on the other side. And of course, no CC immunity in the kit for the Erlong Shen. Serket usually does pretty well into gods like that. We'll see how Panatom can pilot it as Haddix eating a ton of damage over here. And Julio gonna solo him and then stand there and go, okay, I guess you can walk up. Easy first blood for the Leviathans.
Just stepping a little too far. Then just about 6% movement speed to help you out there. Julio gonna be benefiting from a pretty large lead going forward. Someone's gonna have to bail out Haddix, man. Expect Lazar to try and head over there and just try and stop this aggression from the Julio player.
Not an easy start here for the Bolts as we take a look at the replay. Haddix, look, the team always wants coup. Sometimes you got to tell them that you can't get it.
It's hard.
And this should have been one of those times. Beads a little bit too late, and there's some
going for that first rotation buff steal on the duo side. Go back about 3-4 weeks to a Zapman interview when he was prepping to play against the Bulls, and he said, look, this is what they're going to do. They're either going to try and invade me on my purple buff first time, and it's going to work, and they're going to win, or it won't, and they'll lose. Haddix in some more trouble, man. Julio picks up the second kill for his team off a rotation from Panatom. Look, the Bolts, they've said it. Haddix, you're on your own, man. We want duo lane pressure. It's about those buff invades. Haddix left alone, Julio's going to have to be cognizant of.
I wonder if Panatom is going to spend time on that right-hand side still, or come here to defend these buffs a little bit more often. So far, it's the latter coming over to defend, and Lasbra is going to immediately use the Purification Beads. Panatom on the receiving end, and he never even gets his damage off. Bara gets the first kill for the Bolts, and now Yarkor barely able to slip through the Bifrost. He escapes stage left, but Leviathans are running and scattered. This red buff almost certain to go towards the Bolts, and the purple buff should be there as well at this point.
Yeah, but this might force Julio to go ahead and rotate out a little bit earlier than he would have otherwise. Doesn't want to step up to that tier 2. Rongyu caught out in mid, takes the Shards of Ice, loses out on about 60% of his HP bar. Here comes Panatom.
Dumps the whole kit into Jake, and Jake still standing plenty healthy. Double kill for Venenu. A second last breath, a bit of an oxymoron, and Jake still going, I got breath left to breathe. He's still standing despite the onslaught from 2 separate Circuit kits, and it's a double kill for Venenu. 2-0 now for the on to awesome Jake. Just a lot of cooldowns dumped into a Ymir that is awfully tanky already. Tank boots do that for you pretty much all the time, especially when you've got this much itemization up and ready to go, and the levels in this good of a spot. Panatom doesn't have the escape available. He used it on the Oracles. Good recognition from the Bolts, and Jake gets to claim that one this time around. It's Venenu who did a lot of the heavy lifting, though. 2-0-1 on this Merlin pick, and
involved and make sure he's able to shut down these backliners. But as of right now, the ball is in Olympus Bolts court, and Pyromancer being looked at. This is going to go down for free.
Julio is on the way, but I don't think he's going to get here in time. No, Blink does stop Lasbra in his tracks, and now Rongyu is on the way with that defender of Olympus. Lasbra, great double knock-up and a double freeze coming from Jake. Bails out his jungler. Rongyu wishes he had that kind of peel. Venenu finds his third in a row, but now under siege. Panatom trying to chase him down. Beads are there, but Last Breath is up and ready to go, but that won't be enough damage on its own. In fact, now the chase is on for Panatom. Ven claims that one over the wall before finally being shut down by Julio, who has all 3 kills for the Leviathans so far. Jake looking at him, but Shinto is the target for Barracuda. 7 now for the Olympus Bolts as they find another good fight in this game.
7-3 is the slash line, but again, the gold tells a different story. Panatom so far behind as well that I can't argue with the Leviathan's decision to look over towards that Pyromancer, but it's Panatom trying to solo it into a reset, gives the Bolts time to head back to base. Barracuda gets all the way back and makes his way into the gold tree. This is indecisive play from the Leviathans, not something that we see too often.
And Jake's going to punish him for it too. Blinks in, no Pyromancer for you. Good wall. He does catch Shinto on the back end. Shinto holding the relics as the reinforcements come through. Blink, taunt. Shinto doesn't get the Aegis off in time, as now he's going to transform, but it's too little, too late. Lasbra's gotten that kill, but Jake made it happen. Another great wall coming from this Ymir, and that is awesome from awesome Jake. That might be just a fire giant now for the Bolts.
A 15-minute fire giant that is back-breaking, man. And again, this all happens. If I had to guess, the Bolts are going to go ahead and start their group up on the left-hand side, strip out the tier 2, potentially look towards the Phoenix if they find a pick. Barring that, they can work their way over to the tier 2 on the right-hand side. But the Leviathans aren't going to make it easy trying to find a pick.
Ben a little bit late on that Aegis. No shot. He survives this. Shinto going to use the ultimate as well. That's 3 ults to shut down Ven. And you know what, Myth? I think it's worth it, because the Leviathans are not winning any fight head-to-head at this point in their game. You backs up, make sure that he is not going to get Blink taunted.
And Rongyu does have that Blink available. Blink taunt into also Sunder as well. Should be able to strip him away. The engagement starts off, and it's Julio in first.
And he's got his backup coming from Rongyu. Shinto going to transform again into the Chiron and put some good damage out on the Bolts, but not good enough. It's Lasbra who's the worst for wear, but still able to stick around for now. Haddock's going to tank up this Phoenix, trying to let Barracuda do it. Nice double taunt coming in. Barra no beads, but not enough follow-up damage coming, but it's Jake who ends up falling instead. Phoenix still plenty healthy, and Panatom does not get quite enough on that dive in. All being told, though, Mifflin, left side Phoenix still stands. I count that as a dub for the
purple buff, trying to chase out these kills, but not the Leviathans. They force the Bolts to fight in an artificial 5 versus 6, unofficial 6-man inside the Phoenix, and they benefit for it.
Oni Fury down to half. Leviathans the aggressors, as a lot of the bolts haven't reset quite yet. Haddix taunted in, but still has the beads. He's going to be able to disengage. This is Venenu feeling a little bit more confident now that his relics are up, able to put out solid damage onto Panatom. Leviathans tried to catch the bolts slipping a little bit there on the resets, but Fury still stands.
And they should be able to pick it up here. There's no way the Leviathan's going to regroup in time and in numbers enough to take this engagement. Rongyu, Shinto, Yarkor, the only ones in range. Julio crossing through mid. This should go down for free.
Rongyu taunted in by Lasbra, knocked up as well, and Lasbra going to chew through him. 2-0-6 now as he picks up the Leviathan support. Looked like they were all on different pages there, Mifflin. I agree with your assessment that it was going to be difficult to rally the troops in time.
Poor engagement from Rongyu, which creates a slight opportunity for the bolts to look towards fire. And the Leviathans, nowhere to be seen. Shinto too far away. Rongyu not channeling the ultimate, and Yarkor on the left-hand side. This objective should be pretty easy.
Fire down to below half, but they're going to kill Julio instead. Goodbye lead for the Cucullin. He gets exploded by the Fire Giant. Nice double ultimate there coming from Haddix. And he's not done quite yet. Still surging forward as the rest of the bolts go back.
Fire minions pull the Titan. The second they see someone on the side of the Leviathans go for the defense, that should be where they look to engage already. They spot out Shinto on the right-hand side, and here they go. They're in.
Phoenix down to half already. Julio going to blink in, then jump away, but taunted right back in, and Jake is going to get the last hit. Left side, Phoenix already gone. Panatom stunned up, still has the beads. He has to use them and jump away. And no one on the bolts looking worse for wear. Only a Sunder standing between the bolts and a Game 2 victory. They're waiting for this mid-wave blink in from Jake. Gets the beads from Yarkor. Nice double taunt, but it's only onto the front line from Rongyu as the Titan gets whittled down to 75%. Lasbra taunted and ulted by Panatom, but it is not enough. The bolts, despite a catastrophic start for Haddix on the right side of the map, managed to win Game 2 convincingly.
Game 3's on the books, aggro. The Leviathans, they're going to need to clean up a lot here in Game that the bolts are going to go for. Expect to see some pestilences get picked up. Probably this beat stick likely going to be looked at as well. Wouldn't be overly surprised if Barracuda goes for something like the Toxic Blade, since it seems like he's going for this new age ADC build as well.
Julio in trouble. Beads just late. Needed those to land. And I think Julio's got nowhere to go. Eventually, Haddix's cooldowns will come back up. But it's Lasbra who gets first blood with an early gank on the solo lane.
And that's so
Leviathan's favor. Panatom goes 2 for 2 on the buff invades.
They do, but are they able to make it out? Jake stops the back. Panatom caught out, surrounded by 3. Gets the jump over the vine wall. Season 8 tossing a hand his way, but the blink forward should spell his doom.
Venenu right on time as well. Lasbra with both early kills, and when I introduced the game to, one jungler has often got pretty far ahead and the other one is lagged behind, to have Lasbra start off 2-0 is important. And look at this, Rongyu and Yarkor, bit of a lazy back, not realizing that they could get pinched from underneath. Chains are good from Jake, and Rongyu is cooked by the Ares. Jake puts himself on the board.
That is a tough start for the Leviathans here. 3 kills for the bolts in as many minutes, and already it's keeping the pressure up. Julio still level 4, might get sold out here.
He got soloed. The rookie-on-rookie violence continues. Haddix gets the better end, but now Panatom looking to get it back. Haddix is completely out of mana. Panatom just one auto short of being able to get it done. Good beads coming from Haddix there.
Man, the bolts, what do they used to say?
The cleanse available, doesn't use the beads, doesn't panic. Jake doesn't get a lot for that ultimate.
Yeah, this Ares was picked up directly to counter out this Awilish, and the hell was done for the same reason into the Ares. Rongyu trying to get aggressive, finds the tail whip, forces the beads off of Ben.
Cleansed there by Shinto, but the hails are not coming through in time. Venenu gonna add another one, and Haddix has arrived to the mid lane, but so has Julio. Double knockup underneath this tier 1 tower, and Jake gonna have to limp so. And now it might be this right-hand side that's in trouble. Rongyu does find a tail whip, but no gravity surge from Panatom as the collapse is on for the Croc. Venenu gonna meet up with Panatom, trade some damage each other's way, but Venenu's still feeling pretty good. Rongyu does not. No lurking in the waters means there is truly no escape from Jake's ult.
And that's the Leviathans getting aggressive on the Bolt side of the map, seeing if maybe they could strip away some back camps or find someone lingering, but...
Here, and he still has his ultimate. Haddock's gonna hop on the horse right away just to force Panatom back. Julio as well, and the Bolts do step up to secure that Pyromancer, but the Leviathans are surging, looking for a little bit more damage. They know Jake doesn't have his ultimate, and Jake has been isolated. Knockup pulls in Haddock's, but I don't know if that's the target Panatom wanted. Meanwhile, Shinto is just soloing out Venenu, and he gets the kill by himself. Haddock's now on his last legs, and Shinto gonna turn around and pick up the double. Leviathan's first 2 kills on the board couldn't have been on a better target.
Now Shinto gonna have a much easier time scaling into mid to late game, and now the Leviathan. I imagine we see both these teams sort of move their eyes over to the left-hand side pretty soon. Gold Fury available, Pyromancer dead already means that it's really only, or the only rather, POI on the map. Barracuda forced out, Desert Fury expended, but the team fight goes away the Bolts.
And Panatom's already gone. Shinto goes alongside him. Relics did not make a difference for the Leviathans mid laner, both on cooldown now, as he's got to watch as the Bolts take away whatever they want from the map, and they're starting with the gold
by the Bolts.
Mid tier 1 down to half on the Leviathan side of the map, and the Bolts are now grouped as 5, looking to make that half a full 0. But blink in from wrong, you pull back in. It's awesome Jake, but he's got the purification bead still about half HP. Yarkor's ultimate doesn't find a lot of purchase, but Barracuda's does. He knocks an arrow and takes down Panatom, and a big pull coming for awesome Jake. Takes down Wrong You. Now 2 members down on the side of the Leviathans, and 5 healthy members of the Bolts marching on towards the Fire Giant.
The Bolts woke up. They woke up in game 3.
Sports, I suppose, should favor the Leviathans. That no escape has put some decent pressure on the number 1 seed.
It has so far. Now the Bolts in a position to either go into tier 2 or
Mifflin,
just find
they walked
some
into
picks.
traffic. They walked directly into traffic. Immediately, Lasbra, no hesitation, right there with it. Nice pull in from Panatom. Does get the beads from Lasbra off of that gravity surge over the wall, but the Bolts have just been led straight to where they wanted to be. They take down the tier 2 tower, and now they're looking at the Phoenix 4v5 in the Bolts' favor. As Julio gets chained up, Phoenix down to about half HP. Big knockup, and Barracuda eats some spears, courtesy of Yarkor. Barra gonna have to cancel the ultimate and dash away, and it looks like the Leviathans have successfully defended their mid-Phoenix.
Bro, what happened to the Leviathans, man? These guys are gamers. They should have the experience with Frogger to not just walk into the
pulled, but the Leviathans are lower than their counterparts. Lots of purification beads on cooldown, Shinto and Yarkor included, as the Bolts head back to the pit. Leviathans not dissuaded, though. FG down to about half as Julio blinks in to get HP information. It instantly gets sent packing. Venenu gonna be able to burn him down, and Lasbra charges on in. Shinto's Aegis only delays the inevitable. Rampaging is the jungler for the Bolts, but Panatom finally puts an end to it. But the Bolts might just be putting an end to this set up against the Leviathans. Now it's just Panatom left standing. Lasbra the only one on the respawn for the Bolts, and the Bolts not concerned with the Fire Giant. They are looking to take game 1 up against the numbers. Is an edge case call, and it's free gold on the map, but the Bolts more interested in getting this left side Phoenix down. Blink in from Julio, 2-man knockup. Jake gets pulled in, and Barra on the run already. Lasbra boost beads alert as he goes in, but Julio is just getting eaten alive on the back end, and he goes right into the waiting arms of Jake, who burns him up. Panatom goes down, but the dual lane of the Bolts has fallen, both Jake and Barra on the respawn. That means this left side Phoenix siege could take a little bit longer. No Hunter with which to take it down, and the Bolts still not dissuaded. They have their healer in Haddock's still standing strong, but Shinto doing the same on the other side for the Leviathans.
That whole fight goes south when Lazarus laid on the beads. It separates the engagement into a 2v2 and a 3v3 in the back. That's the only way the Leviathans are going to fight in. Huge impale changes the engagement. Haddock has to run.
He's got to back it up, but Yarkor may have just done enough. Look at Lasbra still lurking. Fire minions are on the Titan, but Julio's up in 10. Leviathans don't want to let this go. They feel like this might be their best.
Their engagement takes a hit, so Lasbra going to play further into the back line and just burn down the Fire Giant itself. Julio, first one in.
As he has been all game, he jumps in right into the rage transformation, but that means he doesn't get a knockup. Jake going to pull in just Wrong You, and that's not enough to change the course of the fight. But how about Lasbra trying to take the 1v1 up against Panatom amidst the squad. Yarkor, good impale onto Haddix, and the backline of the Leviathans is in dire straits. Jake is going to grab them both. It's a double kill for the support, and there is not a lot of damage left for the Leviathans. The Bolts did lose Lasbra, but neither Shinto nor Yarkor up and standing as the Bolts again forego the fire, this time going for the Mid-Phoenix.
Mid-Phoenix weakened from earlier on, never going to come back in full strength. Gravity Surge comes through, finds Barracuda.
And Barra had no relics, but it's not enough to take him down. In fact, it's Panatom who falls to the masterful shot of the Olympus Bolts Hunter, and just like that, the Bolts have shocked the Leviathans. They take the very first set here in the group stage.
What a tough one. Haddix stepping forward, but only prolongs the inevitable. The Titan burns away, but that does not mean the Leviathans are out of it just yet. It is the top 3 from each group that moves on. They're going to have to prove it up against the rest of Group A, but the Bolts get a command.